Hello and welcome everyone to another Ginger Baloo, the show in which I am sent to the basement by my wife because I've been a bad boy, and the only way to entertain myself is by entertaining all of you. Joining me tonight, as always, is Mr. Dulac, the letterboxed aficionado, the letterboxed celebrity, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, don't say that.
Man, the myth, the legend. If you are interested in following Mr. Dulac, the link is on the bottom there. So of the video description, and if, as always, feel free to join in the chat as well, which is always cool. So Eternal Rogue's out there. Eternal Rogue, can you hear Mr. Dulac? Echo on Dulac. Yep.
An echo.
What about now? Keep talking, Dulac.
Is there an echo now? Because I'm not going to start talking about fucking movies until this is fixed.
That's right. Waiting for the rogue. The Eternal Rogue.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
now.
Are we
Perfect.
on a delay?
We're good.
Good. Okay,
We're
cool.
good.
Yay.
Holy shit, that's the least amount of technical bullshit we've ever had to deal with. He's like, go now, for it's too late.
No, it isn't.
Oh, the fuck up. Well, thanks for joining me again, sir. Hopefully soon, could get a new computer so we can avoid this bullshit. And maybe have more people join us on the show as well, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't think your computer can barely handle two people.
My computer can fucking barely handle Word at this point. It's like, no, open office, go to open office. Just fucking blows
Your
up.
computer can barely handle Word perfect.
No. Jesus, it's true.
That's how old I am.
It's fucking true, though. It would barely handle Word perfect. All right, so just before I start, let me just send out a message here, tweet, to let the people know where we're at, because we had to change. I wish you could see the comments, Dulac. Do you see the comments where you're at? You don't watch. You
No.
don't see the video live, right? Okay. There's a Eternal Rogue just put a comment. He said, "Computer good as sweet goat mouth." There's nothing sweeter than goat mouth. So yeah. All right.
Now, this is entertaining stuff.
Really? Well, see, this should have been done before, and it would have been done before had I have had a fucking computer that works worth shit. So, yeah. That's all on me. I apologize. I apologize for wasting your time, Mr. Dulac. I apologize.
Is that like just for tonight, or?
That's just tonight. Any other night,
Oh.
I don't really care, but tonight's the one, though. Tonight's the one. Yeah, because like initially we were going to talk about My Bloody Valentine, and then we went to go see Scream. When was that? Saturday? Is it Saturday?
Yes.
So, yes.
Or Sunday.
I think maybe it was
One of those. Don't you work Saturdays?
Yeah, it works Saturday.
Yeah, it was Sunday.
It was Sunday. Yeah, so we went there Sunday, and we were Eternal Row, freaking Chuck Liddell. I love it. So yeah, so anyway, so we went there on Sunday. We watched the movie. When we were done the movie, we came out. We usually stop. We usually talk about it outside. It's usually what we do. And then we said, you know what? We're not going to talk about it. We'll talk about it on stream.
So we don't even know if the other person liked it or not.
Exactly. We have no idea what the other person thinks. So we will talk about that after we talk about My Bloody Valentine. We'll make this a double feature. Eternal Rogue says no Scream spoilers. Well, dude, you're going to get messed up. We'll tell you when we start, though. We won't start talking about the movie now. We're going to do My Bloody Valentine first, and then we'll go with the other one after.
Yeah, we can talk about Scream a little bit, spoiler free.
Yes, we can talk about Scream spoiler free, and we'll warn everybody about when we're not going to go into spoilers. We're going to go into spoilers. How about that? Is that cool? Because I'm getting actually some messages too on my phone saying can't watch because of Scream. We will talk about Scream towards the after the first movie, and then we will tell you before we even we'll tell you before we even start to talk about spoilers. So yeah. So anyways, so let's start this. So My Bloody Valentine. I had seen the remake of this, which was the first 3D movie since Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead. I'm still going to stick to that. I haven't researched it. But nowadays, if you say something online, it's just the truth. That's it.
I'm happy you're admitting I put zero effort in checking if this is correct, but I'm going to say this is the first 3D movie since Freddy's Dead.
Well, the reason why is because if I did check, there's a possibility I would be wrong. I didn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck fact checking.
Fuck fact checking, right? You just make it up.
Fuck it.
That's what we do.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. So it was the first. So after Freddy's Dead, there was a long lull, no 3D. And then it decided, you know what, My Bloody Valentine in 3D, we're going to do that. And then it started everything. It basically paved the way for Avatar.
Yep. Avatar would not exist if it wasn't for My Bloody Valentine 3D.
So James Cameron owes My Bloody Valentine 3D a huge debt of gratitude. I'm just going to say that. And every other 3D movie came after that. Marvel should be paying it royalties. Like, they all should be paying it royalties. But regardless. So I saw that movie in the theaters in 3D. It was okay. It was okay. Then you told me you got to see the original.
Yeah.
And then we talked about this for it's Valentine's Day, so how about we just go ahead and just watch the original and we'll do it on Valentine's Day. And since I don't want to do a review of a Valentine's Day movie after Valentine's Day, because you know how I feel about getting Christmas gifts at Christmas, because it's just stupid, because you can't, not Christmas gifts, what am I saying? Getting Christmas-themed gifts at Christmas. Of course I want gifts at Christmas. Christmas-themed gifts at Christmas are useless because you can't use them until the year after. So they're pointless. You open the box, oh, this is really fucking nice. Deck the halls, put that shit in my closet, and I'll see it next year. So.
Oh, so you're watching out for any losers that have nothing to do on Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
That want to watch two jackasses talk about My Bloody Valentine might be watching this on February 14th.
Exactly, and to be fair, it's probably 50% of our audience. So, at least Eternal Rogue at the very least. So, and yeah, and you can watch this, and then you not even for that, like just you can do that. You can watch this on Valentine's Day if you want to, or you can watch this and get an idea. Oh my God, it's a good movie, so I should get it and get a date, and then watch it with your date.
Yeah, it's a great date movie.
It's a great date.
Horror movies are always great date movies.
Always good date movies because you can put your arms around the girl, right? People still do that, right? Arm around the girl thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard people still do that sometimes.
Swipe left for arm around your shoulder. Fucking dating's gotten nuts. All right, so My Bloody Valentine. You convinced me to watch it. I watched it. I'll say right away, this is an incredibly good horror movie.
Yes.
Very good horror movie. I was intrigued in it the entire time. I was sucked into it. I didn't even look at my phone.
Holy shit.
I know, right? I was like, no, I don't want to look at my phone except for that one picture I sent you. Proving that I was watching the movie. Yeah. Other than that, I put the phone away. And I watched the movie, and it was really good. Now, you sold it to me because it was local-ish to where we live. So tell us a little bit about the movie in your words. And I think we're going to have to go do a pilgrimage there this summer.
Oh, that'd be cool. So it was filmed in Sydney Mines in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, which is basically Cape Breton, I guess, for those who might not be familiar with the area. Are you drinking a Moosehead, or is that a Bud?
Yes, I am. It's a Moosehead.
Yes.
There you
Look
go.
at that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they changed their logo the last couple of years, and it doesn't look like the logo in the film. Because one thing about this movie is almost everyone drinks in the movie, and they're all drinking Moosehead beer. And I've never been able to find anything that says, like, if Moosehead Breweries gave money to be in the movie,
like
or if it's
like,
yeah,
because it's literally everywhere, and it's not just when they're drinking the beer. They have like fucking like boxes with Moosehead on it that they're moving shit in. Like it's all over the movie. At the bar, it's in the background, that big light up sign. Like it's like it's in your face.
Yep. So it comes out in 81. It's during the time the big slasher boom's coming, and every slasher movie needs to have like a theme. It needs to be based around a holiday
Yeah.
because you had like Black Christmas, Halloween, Friday the 13th. And then I don't remember if Prom Night came. I think Prom Night's later.
I think.
But anyways, it's all.
Yeah, there was another one too that came out at that time. I can't remember what it is now. It's escaping.
Oh, there's all sorts. There's like
Yeah.
Mother's Day,
Mother's Day,
April Fool's
Yeah.
Day. So like, there's no way around it. Like, they made My Bloody Valentine to cash in on the holiday slasher films, and it follows. It roughly follows the formula of most slasher films. But first of all, it's Canadian. You watch the movie, it does not take you long to figure out it's Canadian because every single person has thick Canadian accents in the movie. The Moosehead beer and the location, it's just like East Coast. East Coast Canada is not like the rest of Canada.
No, definitely not. And
Yeah.
you can. It's funny because you say the accents and all that. While I watched it, I was like, it's weird. I don't really hear the accent because I'm from here.
Yeah.
But when I was watching it, because you talked to me about the accent and all that, I'm like, okay, Kevin, just think about this movie and try to imagine this is an American movie, and I'm like, no, I can't, because it doesn't sound American either. So clearly,
No,
it
it
sounds
doesn't.
like something else, which is me. It sounds like what I would sound like, but I just don't hear it because
Like the guy that plays Axel, I think his French Canadian comes out a little bit sometimes.
yes,
Like that French Canadian accent. So it's about, like, the movie has a backstory that basically could have been an entire other movie, which is awesome. It starts out, you have these miners working in a coal mine. It's never said in the movie, but you just assume it's a coal mine. And it starts off, they all get out, they're going to the bar, and the bartender starts telling him about the legend of Harry Warden. And when he goes into it, it's like, holy shit, the backstory never ends. And it's amazing. And that's just the fucking backstory of the movie. So they started talking about how 20 years ago there was well, first of all, they live in Valentine's Bluff. That's the name of the small town. So the town always makes a big deal about Valentine's Day.
yeah,
And
it's their thing, right? It's the only
Yeah.
thing they have.
So when I was rewatching this the other night, the missus, she's seen it before because of me, of course, and she was on her phone, not really paying attention. She wasn't really watching it. But at the beginning of the movie, when they were talking about how the supervisors at the mine didn't wait for all the miners to get out because they were in a rush to go to the Valentine's Day dance, the missus looked at me like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking stupid.
That's what you did in the '80s.
That's what you do, though,
did.
if you're Valentine's Bluff. So the supervisors leave, and there's an explosion in the mine. And I think how many? Is it 6 miners get caught in the mine?
5 or 6. I can't. We'll say 6. I can't really remember exactly.
5 or 6. So this is all the backstory. The bartender's telling you, you're seeing flashbacks. And then finally it says like they spent like a week trying to dig out the miners. And when they finally get to the miners, there was only one left alive. You see Harry Warden chowing down on an arm. So I noticed in the movie they don't actually say that he was a cannibal, and they just show him eating a human, but they don't really talk about it.
They don't tell that to the kids.
Yeah, they don't tell that to the kids.
Like clearly he's a cannibal. Like dude's eating an arm and he's screaming after the light. Like
right. So then he talks about how then Harry Warden goes to an insane asylum, and then you think the backstory ends there, and you're like, oh, he's gonna break out and come kill people. But no, the backstory does not end there. It keeps going. That a year later, he broke out, came back to the town, killed the supervisors, and then so this part you don't know if it really happened or if it was just legend, because the bartender says every year Harry Warden comes back.
yeah.
And if anyone tries to celebrate Valentine's Day, he kills them.
he fucks them up.
Yeah. So that's just the backstory.
I,
Like that could have been a whole movie.
I know. Well, that could have been a prequel, which I'm
Yeah.
surprised because there should be a prequel. There should be a prequel.
So then you have your cast of characters, and another thing that is awesome about this movie is that it's an early '80s slasher movie, and like it's a Canadian, but just like the American early '80s slasher movies, the cast are mostly unknowns, but they all feel like real people.
Yes, well, exactly, and that's what I found too when I was watching it. Like I didn't feel like I was watching a movie that's like an acted out movie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
watch movies, sometimes they're overacted. You know, you can tell you're watching. But I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, this is just some dude has a camera, is following these kids around and just taping them. Like
yeah,
it
exactly.
doesn't feel like I'm watching a movie at all. It feels like I'm watching like a documentary. Well, until it gets crazy, I guess. But I feel like I'm
But
watching.
even like the early Friday the 13th films were the same way. Like the kids in those movies feel like real characters. They don't feel like if you compare the early Friday the 13th movies to the remake, in the remake, the kids all look like fucking models. They should be catalog models modeling underwear.
Yes,
In
exactly.
the early Friday the 13th movies, they feel like real people, like real kids.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean, and I think that's something that's lost now in filmmaking
Oh yeah, totally.
because you can almost see why everybody's casting. This guy's cast. This guy's typecast A. This guy's this type. Okay, this is a narcissist. That's the jock. This is you know what I
Yeah,
mean. And I find that in the '80s, although you had those, it didn't look like they were typecast that way.
yeah, exactly.
I feel the same way. So the bartender guy, he's kind of like the whole like in Friday 13th, like the guy that talks about Jason
Yeah,
Crystal Lake has a death curse.
crazy Ralph.
Exactly, Crazy Ralph. So he's kind of
Yeah.
like Crazy Ralph. I actually took I had taken a note about him when I was watching the movie because I was like something he says. So he's in the bar telling the kids about what the fuck's happening, right?
Yeah.
And like he actually calls the kids like assholes.
Yeah.
Like these are his patrons. They've paid for beer. They're sitting down drinking all this moose head, and then he's like, "You fucking assholes! You're all gonna die."
But that's
Buy more beer.
that's the other thing. This is a movie in a small town, so that's the only bar in the town.
Exactly.
So he's probably been calling all his customers assholes for 20 years
Exactly.
now, and they just keep coming because they don't have anywhere else to go.
He owns the market.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't give a shit, right? It's like you fucking asshole. You'll come back here to drink. Fuck man. I was like, holy shit, this dude. But yeah, he's
So,
fucking awesome.
and the reason the bartender gives them this backstory is because for the first time in 20 years, the little town of Valentine's Bluff is going to is going to hold a Valentine's Day dance,
Exactly.
and he doesn't think that's a very good idea.
Finally he has a purpose in life other than giving beer. He can tell them the
But
story.
but he ends up being wrong, and dance goes off without a hitch, and nothing
Exactly.
happens.
That's it. Credits roll. Right
Yep.
after that, you assholes. Fuck. It's insane. So yeah. So did you know who the killer was? At any, we're gonna talk through the whole movie, but I'm just wondering this: did you know who the killer was at any point until the end?
Oh, well, now you're asking me to remember like the first time I ever watched it. I'm trying to remember. I remember the first time I watched it, like for most of the movie, I just thought this Harry Warden guy is back.
Yeah.
Because if you've watched enough slasher films from the 80s, there's not a lot of them that try to put twists in them.
No.
A lot of them are
exactly.
just, this is the killer, and you're going to watch him kill people for the next 90 minutes.
Yes.
And that's it.
So it's a twist. If you watch it
Yeah.
now, you kind of expect who done it, and I think it's a who done it, and I think I'm thinking that because I watched Clue recently. I think that's kind of like why I had that mentality going in, like to who, because I was like, is this really Harry guy? And then like, okay, so okay, these police are completely incompetent. This town is incompetent to a degree that I've never seen before.
Well, I think they only have one police officer, right?
Well, they have the sheriff and then the other guy, right?
One other guy.
Yes. So they're two.
Okay.
They're a
They're
team,
two.
a small team. The mayor doesn't really help.
No.
So when they call the institute to know about Harry, because they're like, "Oh, Harry's back. Whoa, let's call where he's staying at now. What was it? Was
The
it like an
hospital.
asylum? He was an asylum.
I think, yeah, it was like an
It's
asylum.
insane asylum. So they call there and they're like, "Don't know who that is." It's like, "Oh no, dude! Like we committed him 20 years ago. He ate people in the mine, and then he came back and killed a whole bunch of other people. I don't know him. Nope. Have to check some paperwork. Don't know if he's here
You're
or
like,
not.
well,
Leave a
you
message."
just described half the people here.
Jesus. I was like, holy shit. How could you not know? And how could you be so nonchalant about it? Like, no, we're not sure we have him here. You're going to go check? And she seemed like
What's
really pissed off like at the end of the call. Like, how
She
dare
was
you?
annoyed. Well, it was Friday afternoon.
Oh my God. She had to get to the
She was
dance.
she was off in
She
an
had to get
hour.
to the dance.
Yeah.
So just fuck everybody else. Fuck people dying in the mine to get to the dance. Oh my God. Yeah, that part really stuck out. I was like, holy shit, this can't be real. Like, the record keeping in this era is horrible.
So you suspected, like, from early on in the movie that maybe it was one of the guys that was the killer?
Yes.
So I thought about this when I watched it again. Can you think of another slasher like this where they set up two lead male characters in a love triangle with a girl, and they make it look like either one could be the slasher?
If you remove the love triangle, I can think Scream is like that.
Oh well, Scream. Like
Yes.
anyone in the fucking movie could be the killer.
Yes. No, exactly. So, I mean, okay, so back then, no. No, I don't think it had been done till then.
Hmm.
Not that I know of. I haven't seen every movie, so
Yeah.
I can only test to what I've seen. But what do you? So I liked his look, like the killer's look,
The look. Yeah,
the-
it was a good, like. It's shocking that I think this is one of the movies, like, so in the early 80s you had, like, every now and then it's almost like they picked a certain movie of the week, like, okay, we're gonna all feel outraged about this movie and we're gonna fucking trash it,
yeah,
like the critics.
yes,
And certain movies paid higher prices, and I think maybe this one is one of the movies that ended up, because there's another Canadian slasher movie, Prom Night,
yeah.
that ended up with 3 sequels, and I think this is like 10 times better than the first
yes,
Prom
for
Night
sure.
movie. And it's
Prom Night
and
2 is
it-
better
we're-
than the first Prom Night.
and we're
Fair
not
here.
we won't talk about the end of the movie yet,
Yep.
but the movie sets itself up for a sequel.
Yes.
And it was a great movie. Like, the director, he's talked a lot about that he always wanted to make a sequel, and I think
He's
so.
from
It's
Quebec,
a Canadian
right?
movie.
He lives
Yeah,
in Quebec. He's from overseas somewhere originally.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think he lived in Nova Scotia too. I'm not sure, but I know he's in Quebec now.
Yeah.
So
But even though it was a Canadian movie, I think Paramount might own the rights to it because they distributed it after,
yeah,
and they probably made the sequel,
well
the remake.
they're the ones that are on the, like, if you watch the uncut version now, they're the
Yeah,
the movie company that's presenting the movie, so they would have distribution, I would think. Which is weird. So why wouldn't they do a sequel now? I know they did the remake, but that doesn't count. You could follow this up easily, even now. Although, well, yeah, the mining industry is still a big thing in the U.S.
yeah, but it's like studios. So they're scared of. Doesn't take much to scare them. Remember when, is it Paramount that owns the rights? Past tense, owned the rights to Friday the 13th.
Yes. And they sold to New Line.
Remember when they made a deal with Warner Brothers owns New Line, so Warner Brothers owns, well, all this is different now, but they used to own Jason.
Yeah, like New
Right?
Line owned the rights
And
to
Paramount
the character.
owned the name Friday the
Exactly,
13th.
yes.
And Paramount had made a deal. It was all around that that one of those box sets, Friday the 13th
Yeah.
box sets that came out, they had made a deal that Warner Brothers could release it with Shout Factory with every single movie if they had the rights to Jason for 5 years, and they could make a Friday the 13th movie on their own. They had 5 years to make the movie, and they ended up not making the movie. And the rumors were they were at the point where there was a script, they were scouting for locations, and then they released that Last Ring movie,
Okay.
and it fucking bombed. And they were like, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't make another horror movie. It won't. Let's not do it."
Unreal, huh?
It's like
Canning
Friday the
Jason for
13th
the
has,
Ring? Like, come on.
like Friday the 13th has always made them money,
Well, yes.
and they barely put any money into making the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it was always your little dirty secret.
Mm.
Crazy.
So we went off track there.
Yes. We'll get back on track here. Minors.
Yeah. Miners. Fucking horny miners.
Miners, not young people. People that work in the mine. So,
Yeah.
his look in the movie dressed in the mining outfit is fucking great.
Yes, it was
I
awesome.
love it. And the breathing is like Halloweenish, Vaderish, like
Yep.
you hear the breathing so you know it's him. And he has a legitimately a reason to breathe like that because he is in the fucking, like an oxygen mask, a miner suit, with the light on the top, which is always cool because if you're in the mines, it's going to fucking blind you. So it's it's a good side thing to have. And he's always using the pitch axe. So I watched the uncut version as
Yep.
per your suggestion, and the gore in this movie is fucking beautiful.
I know, isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful. So well done. And
You think it was like Tom Savini or something
yes,
that
exactly.
worked on it,
I don't know
and
who did the effects, but
I forget his name. I looked, and he went on to have a good career, but I think he branched off more into mainstream movies. I think I won't go on my phone. We're not going to fact check anything.
no,
Yeah,
what
he
we
went
say is
into
true. He
mainstream
went
movies.
on to a great career in
I
mainstream movies.
think, yeah.
He did make up for Avatar.
Like I don't, I don't think he stuck to horror movies, which he could have. But oh yeah, for the uncut version, I watched a new Blu-ray I bought.
Ooh.
That's the Steel Book.
Ah.
So I had seen the uncut version before, but I had read that Shout Factory. I think this came out last year, and they rescanned the uncut version. So the one I used to watch, the uncut version, whenever the uncut scenes would come up, they were incredibly grainy compared to the rest of the movie.
Okay, yeah, the one I watched, they weren't.
And
I didn't even
in
know
this
they weren't.
uncut, yeah, in this uncut version, if you know where the scenes are, you'll still notice that like there's a slight difference. But like if you don't know where it is, like you said, you don't really notice.
Yeah, I had no
where
idea
those-
where they are.
where
I
those
watched it right
intricacies
through.
are.
I know they are because I checked after to see what the differences were, and I'm like, okay, no, I saw
Yeah.
that, I saw that, I saw that. But I didn't really notice any difference like watching it, which is cool. Because like you said, sometimes you can tell a difference. So clearly this new release they fixed that problem, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the look.
And
Oh, no, go ahead.
yeah, like you said, the look is cool, and he has a cool gimmick, like cutting people's hearts out, putting them in Valentine's Day boxes, and leaving little poems about what's going to happen next.
Beautiful.
Like that's ahead of its time.
It is. And it's loving too.
Yeah.
Like he clearly cares. Like it's kind of neat because the first so the first scene of the movie when they're in the mine, the guy and the girl has the heart tattoo on her, and then he puts the pickaxe through the. If you think about it now, you're like, okay, well clearly it was somebody who was trusted.
Yeah.
This wasn't Harry, right? Like this was somebody else, and this was probably somebody younger with that girl. But you watch the movie, like, you know what I mean? I thought about that after the fact. I'm like, oh, why when he killed her, like that was somebody she trusted, she went mine with. It wasn't just like random person.
And something I only thought about on this rewatch,
And Harry,
I've never thought about before, was I wonder if he wasn't planning on killing that girl at all, but when he saw that little heart, it triggered him.
It definitely could, because he did get triggered. he was very triggerable. A triggerable kind of guy. So, all right. So, continue with the movie. So, we were at. Where are we at? So he. Okay. So the guy said the whole story, the backstory.
Yeah, I think it starts off pretty quick, doesn't it? So the guy gives the whole story, and then you have the miners crash where the dance is going to be. They're decorating. They all go see their girlfriends, and the old lady's there. She's decorating, and the mayor and the sheriff go in and warn people, "Hey, stop fucking around," and blah blah blah. And then you have that one Joker that puts red paint on his head.
Yes.
Remind me of that shithead from Friday the 13th Part 3.
Ah, Shelley.
Shelley. It's not as bad as Shelley, though.
No, no.
He just does one prank. So the sheriff and the mayor go to leave, and when he's leaving, one of the guys says, "Hey, mayor, someone left this Valentine's Day gift for you." No idea who put it there. We just found it, and he brings it in the car with him, takes off with the sheriff, opens it up to gobble down some chocolate, and he finds a heart in it.
Yes. And I love the reaction. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
and then the fucking car
He's like,
just
"Not
spins,
again."
turns around, and just goes the other direction. Yeah.
We should have written down the poems so we could repeat
The
them.
poems were good.
Yeah.
They're very classy. Yeah, I like the fact that I like that he put the hearts in the boxes. That was cool. I like the fact that anybody who got the heart seems like they were targeted.
Yep.
Although the sheriff never got it, but some of the other ones did.
Before we go any further, the sheriff. Did you notice anything about the sheriff? About his
He
voice?
was old.
So he's a Canadian actor, been around for a while, and he does a lot of voice work in cartoons.
Okay.
So one thing I read, I don't understand exactly, maybe because as soon as I tell you the character, you're going to be like, no, I know who plays that character, and it's not him. But they're both credited, and Don Franks, I think his name is, from My Bloody Valentine. He's credited for less episodes, so maybe he was doing the character when the main guy was doing it. One of his credits is Dr. Claw in Inspector Gadget.
Which is Frank Welker,
Yeah,
normally.
but
Possible.
he's credited for less. For like Frank Welker is credited for more episodes, so I don't know if. But anyways,
Well,
this
you know
one
what? You
you'll
say that,
recognize.
and I can actually remember distinctively right now. I can remember it clear as day as a kid. Some episodes of Dr. Claw did not sound like Dr. Claw. 100%. I'm not just saying that.
Maybe that's what
100%.
it was.
So it
But
would
this
totally
one, I
make
should have
sense.
I should have told you this before you watched the movie, because you would have watched the movie and you would have pictured this character every time he talks. He did a voice on X-Men the Animated Series.
Ooh, like the 93 series.
Yeah.
Which one?
Sabretooth.
Ah, okay. Nice.
And he also voiced him in like various video games where they tried to get like the same voice cast as the cartoons and stuff. But once you have Sabretooth in your head and you watch My Bloody Valentine, you picture Sabretooth every time he talks.
I can't even remember what Sabretooth sounded like off the top of my head.
He sounds like
I'd have to go listen.
He sounds like the sheriff.
It sounds like
in
the sheriff from My Bloody
Valentine.
Valentine.
Yeah.
Stephen Bye just wrote, there are episodes where Dr. Claw sounded different. I know Stephen watched Inspector Gadget a lot, so
So that must be it.
yeah. I noticed it too. As soon as you said that, I remembered that there were episodes that they were different.
So I just saw. So Miss Dulac can probably hear us talk from upstairs.
She's watching.
Because she just texted. Yeah, she must be watching.
Is she watching?
So she just
Hello,
texted
Miss
me,
Dulac.
reminded me that. So this is how many times she's watched the movie against her will. Is last night when
Against her will.
when one of the various Valentine's Day boxes was open with the heart in it. Carrie just looked at me and she's like, "He must be getting tired of always getting the same present."
Aww. I like chocolates. He was all excited for chocolates. Had a heart.
So what happens then? So the sheriff and the mayor drive back into town, and then the sheriff makes that phone call you were talking about where he calls insane asylum to find out if Harry Warden's there, and they're like, annoyed with him. Like, this
Yeah.
is it's Friday afternoon, buddy.
They're like really annoyed with him. Like, no, we don't know who
Yeah.
this guy is. Like he ate 5 minors. Like, how can that slip your head? I don't get it.
So I think they cancel a dance right away, don't they?
Yes, as soon as he gets the heart, he decides the dance is canceled, which is the
Yeah.
number one thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Great.
The mayor's like, fuck this. I watched Jaws.
That's what I was thinking too. It's exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, he's pulling an anti-Jaws. He's shutting the shit down. No,
And then
it's the 4th of July and that Valentine's Day will be your answer. We'll be open.
that poor old lady putting decorations in the laundromat. I think she's the first one to really get it.
Yes. And that was fucking disturbing.
Yeah, and that's one of the I think that's one of the first scenes that was really cut down in the theatrical release.
Yeah, because like what we haven't really said yet is that the MPA was like horrible with this movie.
Yep.
Like they asked them to cut and cut and cut and cut and cut, and they butchered the movie. So that's why the uncut version is so much better to watch, because they really butchered this movie. I think it's like about 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, at least.
Like that's
yeah,
crazy.
3 to 5 minutes at least.
That's a lot, and that's not just because it was like a boring scene. Like that's direct, like what horror people want to see. That type of stuff that's cut out, and that's a lot of time. Stephen Budd wrote, "How long until Eternal Road gets banned?" So pretty quick, actually. He said, "You're lucky I can't comment with gifs." And Eternal Road says, "You don't have the qualifications," written as it was a koala bear, which is bear talk, which is what I normally do, but I won't do it here. All right. Remember, guys, like this video, share it. We need to get more people in. That's how you beat the YouTube algorithms. It's by liking. So like, even if you don't like. If you really hate this video, you like it twice. All right, so we are at the call. Does the call. Then cancels the dance. So then the kids decide, okay, the dance is canceled, but kids in the 80s will be kids in the 80s. And actually, you know what? Let's just stop that. They're not even kids.
No, they're like early 20s, probably.
They're like young adults because
they're minors.
They're minors.
Yeah.
Minors.
Not minors as in under 18, but like coal miners.
Yes, coal miners. As in minors.
Yes, saying this movie is about horny miners earlier could be taken the wrong way.
These are the types of minors that will not get you in trouble with Chris Hansen. So
yeah,
you can actually
exactly.
see these minors. So, and they're young, they're working, so they work in the mines, and then they're like, the dance is canceled, and they're like, you know what, fuck this shit. We're at the mine. They kind of have like this place where they all go, like, I guess it's like their common area.
Yeah, like a rec room.
Like a rec room, like it's a pool table. There's a pinball machine, of course, because you need that. Nick Cage would love that. And there's a place for you to eat and all that. So they decide we're going to bring the party there instead and not tell anyone about it except for the miners and their dates and a few other local youth. So they end up partying there.
But then somehow Harry Warden finds out.
He does. How did he get the invitation? How did he know? Because his whole goal is he wants to kill people until they cancel the dance.
Yeah, he's not asking for anything unreasonable.
No, well, no, exactly.
He just wants people to not celebrate Valentine's Day, like most incels.
Exactly. Why, just don't celebrate the day that people left me to die in a mine in order to go, try to hook up. It's much appreciated. So yeah, but they still
he leaves another present. He leaves another present for the sheriff.
Yes. Another present, more chocolate.
And I don't remember what the poem says, but it says like since they're having a party, people are gonna die, and the sheriff's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? A party?
There's no party." And then he finds out there's a party.
In the little fucking small town, the sheriff has no fucking idea how to find that party.
No, he has no clue. It's crazy, and that scene too, like when he finds that heart and the dogs are like eating it out.
Yes, the dogs are losing their fucking
Yeah, they're
minds.
trying to get
Like, holy
into the
shit.
box because there's like blood coming out of that fucking Valentine's Day box. So they're just
Those
trying to
pro
get.
those probably weren't even trained
They're
dogs.
probably legit
They probably
feral
just put a
dogs.
cow. They probably just put a cow heart in the box, and they were gonna film the scene, and these fucking dogs showed up,
Yeah, that's probably what it
and the
was.
director was like, fuck it, film it.
These were miners' dogs when this mine was open. Because that mine was closed for what, 6 years before
6
they
years.
filmed it. Before they filmed there.
Yes. So the story behind it, I've read the story and I've seen the director tell the story in an interview. Is like they came, so the town was struggling a little bit because the mine closed had been closed for like 5 or 6 years. So they said we're gonna film a movie here, and they got really excited. So what they did was they fucking cleaned the entire mine and the buildings and everything and made it look spotless. And then the crew got there and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they had to spend all this money to re-dirty everything because the reason they wanted the mine was because it looked like a working
It looked
mine.
gritty. I read that too. I think it
Yeah,
was 30 grand they spent.
yeah,
And that's in like 1980, I think, when they filmed it. So 30 grand in order to make the mine look like a mine. Because they
yeah.
had.
So there's scenes in this movie where they're actually filming in a real mine.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And which is. And they said lighting was bad. It was hard to get down there with a certain type of lighting because you didn't want to get a certain, like a flame or a flick because of methane
Yeah,
levels in the mine. Like, it was legitimately dangerous to film this movie. Like, they could have built like a set, but they chose to like, but it fucking looks beautiful though, right?
yeah. It looks great.
So it was a good idea to do it that way.
So when the old woman dies, that's like really gnarly. They find her like in the dryer and everything. But after the party starts, then the miner really goes to town and starts killing people.
Yes, he's really pissed at that point. But that whole scene with him killing that old lady.
Yeah,
So so basically that happens like what, at night. The next morning, like the chief
yeah,
shows
she's been
up
in the
there.
dryer overnight.
Exactly. First of all, how'd that dryer stay on overnight?
In the 80s, you
You could just
dryers
put.
didn't have timers. You could just put like 8 hours.
So it's like boom, 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 boom.
And they were big enough to put a whole body in.
Exactly.
Either that or the miner was really sadistic, and every hour he went back and put another dollar in the
You
dryer.
could have done that, I guess. Well, it's crazy because when he opens up the dryer, the first thing he gets out are clothes. He's like, he smells like these don't quite smell right. It's almost like they've been burning with a body for 8 hours. And then the fucking body just comes tumbling out of the dryer, and those fucking eyes are like white. It's fucking creepy.
Yeah, and then we forgot about one kill between that and the part before the party starts is when the guy who owns the bar finds out they're having a party
Oh,
at the
yes.
mine. He goes and he wants to set something up to scare them, so he sets up like a fake
Like a scarecrow.
miner and a pickaxe that's gonna, yeah, scarecrow, and a pickaxe swings up when you open a door, and he tests it out a couple of times, and the last time he tested, he closes it, and he's like, wait a minute. He goes and opens the door again, and the real miner's there, and just shoves his pickaxe up into his face,
Yeah.
and then the eyeball is sticking
Yeah, it
out.
comes out through the eye socket.
It's like, holy
Oh
shit.
yeah, it's fucking brutal. He brutalizes those people.
Mm.
Like and
So then,
then those effects were like, that was like Tom Savini like type effects, like Tom
yes,
Savini for
big
sure.
time.
Like,
And then the party starts, and then the body count really starts.
yes, then it just,
A, a lot of creative kills in the movie.
yes, a ton of creative kills. And I like even the whole, there's a part where so they fight the two, so basically the two lead males are fighting over the same girl. One of them
Yeah.
is the
The,
son of the mayor.
Yeah,
So,
TJ, he's the son of the mayor that had left Valentine's Bluff and came back, and you don't know where he was.
yeah,
So
you're
that's
thinking
like,
it's Vancouver.
so it's like,
That's what I think. I'm gonna say it was Vancouver. Nobody can fact check this. So he went to Vancouver.
well, being on the West Coast, how many times you have people like in their 20s, like, I'm going to go out west?
Oh, okay, he could have. Yes, okay, he could have went to Banff too, I guess.
gonna go make money out
We're
west.
gonna make money out west at Banff. I won't be
So
back.
so he's back in Valentine's Day. Valentine's
Valentine's Day
Bluff.
bluffs.
He's back in Valentine's Bluff, and realizes his ex-girlfriend is now going out with his. I don't know if it was his best friend or they were just friends.
Yeah, it was his buddy. I mean, they don't.
With his buddy Axel.
But they used to
TJ and
drink
Axel.
in like abandoned cars.
Yeah.
In
Oh, that's a great scene. One of the nights after they're done working, they all end up in the
fucking junkyard.
In the junkyard cooking TV dinners on an
engine and
engine.
Drinking in like cars with no wheels, no doors.
And they sound like totally Canadian.
Yes.
You got the munchie boys.
Here you go. Try some of this medicine. They sound like we sound right now.
And they play harmonica together.
That too.
No,
I had that written down.
Best friends.
Everyone has a harmonica.
So TJ, and we should mention, we didn't know this last week when we talked about the movie, is one of the main guys, TJ, played by Paul Kellman. He passed away on January 30th.
Oh, rest in peace, Paul.
He was 72 years old.
Wow. He
didn't make a lot of movies. If you check IMDb, he only has like 11 credits, and 2 of the credits are specials for My Bloody Valentine.
Nice.
But typical Canadian actor, one of his credits is a guest spot on Littlest Hobo.
Oh, well, you've made it then.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
You're on Littlest Hobo. Oh, man. So, yeah, so there's a scene when they're having the party, and then the 2 males are fighting over the girl.
Yeah.
And then they throw out one of the males. And as he's being thrown out, it's the coolest thing. He's thrown out, he turns around, he grabs a beer off a pinball machine, like whoosh, and then just lands outside. It's like just like one whole swish, but I was like so impressed by like I rewound it.
That's how Canadians get thrown out.
Fucking
they always
crazy.
manage to grab a beer. Always manage to grab a beer on their way out.
Fuck, he's like spinning, grabs it. It's not like alone, it's like on a pack with like those rings. Someone snaps it off the pinball machine, turning, and then lands outside and he's got a beer.
And the guy who stops TJ and Axel from fighting the big guy Hollis with that big mustache and those thick glasses, like he's like another, like, he feels like a real person.
He does. He feels like he looks like John Candy, but he feels like a real person.
Yeah, and in the movie, him and his girlfriend, they they look adorable.
Yeah. With
each other, and towards the end of the movie, there's actually characters in the movie you hope don't get killed.
Yeah.
And most of them do, though.
Why? Why did they do that? Oh. So I'll just check something here quickly.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, I had it written down. Everyone has a harmonica. Another thing I wrote here is when he fuck it, I can't remember which scene it was. It was the chief and the mayor. I can't remember which scene it was because I just have it written down. What an awful smell, light cigar. I always love those things, like in the horror movie where you see the autopsy and then they and then they light a cigar, smoke.
Yeah.
Or they eat a sandwich.
So I think at this point in the movie, they don't really give a hint that Harry Warden. So later on in the movie, you find out Harry Warden died.
Yes.
So it's not him the killer. But even before that,
to be fair, do we really know he's dead? Because look at these people's fucking record keeping. Like, I don't know.
Like, they're calling again. Just tell him he died.
Yes, exactly. Just tell him he died. Oh fuck, man. The hot dog scene.
Oh, yes.
Holy shit, man. That was disturbing because what's found after and then the fact that you think they're fucking eating the hot dogs.
They probably still ate those hot
They
dogs.
ate the hot dogs for sure. So the killer comes in and there's a guy making hot dogs in the back. He's got like a pot.
In a huge pot, boiling hot dogs.
The killer grabs him by the back of the face and then just fucking drowns him in there. And you can see him, like, the angle, like, from, like, which is really cool the way it was filmed. the angle looking out at him in the water. So you see his face like getting like burned, like boiled, like
Yeah,
the
and the
skin
skin's starting to come
peel and
off.
come like it was really well done.
Yep.
And then after they're like,
And then later on, the girls come in and they're checking the hot dogs and they pull out a heart and the heart is all gray like it's been boiling for a while and they're like, "Oh, gross." And they just throw it away. And it's like the guy's heart.
and then they pour more water and more hot dogs in.
Yep, because they think it's just a
Yeah.
prank.
It's like, oh, that's gross. Put more
We're not going
wieners
to waste
in
these
there.
hot dogs.
Holy fuck. Yeah.
And while that happens, someone's grabbing beer out of the fridge, and he's not looking in the fridge, and that guy's severed head is in the fridge.
Yeah. They open it's typical horror scene. They open the fridge and they don't look in it. But you can see it like, as the audience.
Yep.
You can see the heads there. But they're not looking like directly at it yet. Although they find it later on. But
Yeah, and what I was going to say was, so at this point, you don't know that you, like, as far as the sheriff is concerned and the mayor, Harry Warden's killing people. But in the movie, it's planting seeds, like Axel and TJ keep acting sketchy and they keep disappearing for a while because they're both pissed off and they have to go brood in a corner or something. I think it's funny when they're both fighting for each other, fighting for the girl, and TJ says, "Sarah, why don't you tell him?" And Axel's like, "Tell me what? She's leaving you for me." And she's like, "No, I'm not." What the fuck are you talking about?
I love it. Like, because the scene almost looks like, oh, it's gonna be the typical, like, he's gonna tell her what to do. He's the guy. You know what I mean? He's gonna like shit on her, and then she like just like fights back, like, the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
No.
She's like, "Fuck both of you."
Yeah, fuck both of you. I'm leaving with my girlfriend. But yeah, no, that was cool. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
So the party goes on, and of course the couples start going off in corners to have sex.
Mhm.
And that always ends well in a slasher movie.
Always with the sex. Why?
I know you hate sex.
Oh,
So.
wait till marriage. It's so
Yeah,
much better.
Exactly.
Holy fuck, I gotta stop the stream now before this goes live and Amy sees it. We're on a delay. She hasn't seen it yet. So yeah, so they start getting attacked in different areas because they're all going off to have sex, which is a bad
Yeah.
idea. Even if you're not a teen, it's a bad idea if you're a minor. So then do they okay,
And
so
Hollis.
yeah, so one of them
Be-
says, okay, well, I can
Before they find any bodies, Hollis, the big guy, his girlfriend, Sarah, the girl that's dating Axel, and it's TJ's his ex, and the goofball that does all the jokes. They decide, hey, let's go in the mine.
yeah. Because
And the girls are like, yes.
yeah, because the girls never get to
And-
go in the mine.
Yeah, realistically though, I could see that happening.
Oh, for sure.
Like the girls are like, yes, let's go. I want to see what the mines look like. Let's go. So they go in the mines, and while they're gone, then a few people get killed at the party, but they're in the mines and they don't know. And the beauty is, of course, it's the 80s, so cell phones don't fucking exist.
Yes, exactly. So you can't communicate.
As soon as cell phones were created, fucking ruined
ruined
slasher
horror.
movies.
And common sense that ruin horror
Yeah.
too. So they're in the mine. Then topside, the party finally learns that there's killings. They
Yeah.
find a guy in the fridge. They find the people that went off. The two of them that went off to have sex.
Yeah, and that's an amazing kill.
Yes.
The girl that gets killed, he picks her up by the head, and that's a callback from earlier in the movie because it's like she's like this tiny woman, and her boyfriend must be at least like 6'2", and when you see them meet, he grabs her by the head and she grabs his arms, and he just lifts her
Yeah.
by the head, and they kiss, and then later on in the movie, the killer grabs her by the head and lifts her up, and they're in the shower. He takes her to the shower and just impales her, like the back of her head, into a shower spout.
Yeah, which is like a minor shower, so it's not like a.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like those rounds. Like it's literally.
Yeah, it's just like a pipe that sticks
just
out.
shoots water. So you just impale. her
And
in
then
the
he
pipe.
turns the fucking water on.
Yeah.
So when they find her, there's like blood and water coming out of her mouth.
And steam.
That looked amazing.
When her boyfriend finds her. Cool thing about that though is the boyfriend doesn't get killed.
Yeah,
which is weird because usually when the person goes back to find the other person, they get killed.
they get killed.
That's
Yeah,
all. That's the cliche of all horror movies. That always happens, especially if it's a guy, because you have a chance of having the final girl. But when it's a guy, there's no chance.
yeah. The guy has to act tough, and he's like, "I'm gonna get the killer." But this guy was like, "Fuck this!
Yeah,
My
yeah.
girlfriend's
He's like,
dead.
fuck this
I'm
shit.
getting the fuck out of here."
I'm getting out here and I'm never coming back.
Yeah,
So he goes to the party, tells them what's going on, and then they find the other
and then
person.
people lose their shit.
Yes.
And then
Nobody's
they
playing
know
pinball
that
that
Hollis, and the other people are in the mine. So TJ and Axel, the two guys that aren't getting along, but they're friends, decide they're going to be heroes and they're going to go in the mines and save them.
Yeah. Then they go down. So a question before we go any further with that. I wanted to watch it again, but I didn't have a chance. Just a scene. I want to watch it again, but I didn't have a chance to watch it. I don't know. I'm just going to throw this out at you if you remember this offhand. If you don't, it's fine. But there's a scene in the mine when the four of them are down there.
Yeah.
Initially, you hear the breathing. You see, it's when he's coming. You see, he's like coming down and looking at them. You see, like it's the camera's vision, so it's like
Oh, okay, yeah.
comes in, and then goes back up. Was that before they went down or after?
Ah, shit, I don't remember
I
now.
can't remember. The only reason why is because it would kind of not make sense.
He could have gone down and just check up on him and then go back up.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm just going in defense mode.
yeah. Why he was.
In case if it was, I'm going to defend the movie till the end.
So we'll look at that at some point. I don't think it was. I think it was after, but I'm just not 100% sure. Okay, regardless, we'll forget about that. So they're in the mine. They don't know what's going on. Upside. There's more than four of them. There's six of them.
In the mine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
But there's
six
a couple.
because one couple
Two
goes
couples.
into like a
Exactly. They go.
room or something to have sex.
Yeah, they
and
get
then the four
horny
other
because
people. Yeah, they're miners.
they're miners.
They're coal miners.
Coal miners. So they go in a room to have sex in a mine because that's a really good idea. Which is the equivalent of the. Although you know what, I would probably do it anyway. But it's kind of like when you watch the movie, it has the same feel as when I'm watching the Willy's Wonderland when they have sex in the sacrifice room.
That's way worse.
It is, but I mean, it's just like
They have sex in the sacrifice room in a building they know that's haunted, that they know that people are being killed in.
it's a sacrifice room. Maybe that is the safest room.
That reminds me of a scene that we're going to talk about later for Scream that I really liked.
Yes. Well, okay, guys, just so you know, if you're watching this, there's no Scream spoilers yet. When we're done with this movie, we're going to talk about Scream. And when we do, we'll let you guys know. So if you don't want to watch right now and you want to watch it later because you don't get it spoiled, that's fine. But we're not going to give any Scream spoilers now, okay? Just so you know.
Just My Bloody Valentine spoilers.
Just My Bloody Valentine spoilers. It's
A
been out for
40-year-old movie.
It's been out for 40 years, so you know what? You should have watched it.
Yep.
You still should because it's a fucking amazing movie.
Yes.
Comment here from Eddie M. Hi there, Kevin. Big fan here. Been watching you since your One More Day Spider-Man review. Loved all your one-on-one classes. Thanks, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, the One More Day review. Such a huge rant. It's weird, too, because I was so afraid that was going to happen in the new Spider-Man, and it completely didn't happen that way, and I was so happy. All right, so I don't want to go off topic. Let's continue. So we have 6 people in the mine. We have the 2 hero guys going down into the mine to save them.
Yep. And they split up to try to find them.
Yeah, because that's smart. So one thing I want to say right now, so they don't use the elevator to go down because they can't. For whatever reason, it wasn't working or they didn't want to, but they go down in the cart. The 6 people, the carts.
Right.
I want to go on record right now. I want to go down in a mine cart. Okay? As much as I want to go on a gondola. It's literally equal to the gondola. I want to go down a mine cart. That looks so fun.
I'm good. I don't want to go underground that far.
Looks like
I think it would freak me out.
It looks fun. Well, maybe if they clean up the mine. Before the $30,000.
So the couple having sex,
Yes.
they die.
unfortunately.
Big surprise. They get a huge drill. They die, but they're bonded forever because they have a huge drill that goes through them both.
So that scene, was that filmed? The killing?
I think it was. I saw an interview where he explains everything you see in the movie. No, everything they filmed for that scene, and he goes into a lot of detail, and it's all stuff you don't see
Because you don't
in the
see anything.
in the even in the uncut one. And I
Yeah.
think he said that they couldn't find the footage
Okay.
after it was cut for the restoration. So I guess what happens is the killer comes behind. So he's on top of her. The killer comes out behind him, takes a huge drill bit and shoves it in his back. And I guess having the drill bit shoved in his back makes him thrust harder.
Well, yeah.
So
It's
she
gonna
doesn't
drill
notice.
harder, right?
So she doesn't know what happens right away. And I guess blood starts coming out of his mouth and goes into hers, and then she starts freaking out, and then the killer drives the drill bits through both of them, and then he falls, his mouth on top of her mouth, and there's blood coming out from between both their lips.
Aww.
And then that's how it ends.
They love each other.
So in the movie, you see the drill bit sticking out of his back.
That's it. You don't see the killer at all.
Yeah.
Which I always found lazy.
So I guess that's one scene they couldn't find. Either they couldn't find the footage restored, or they couldn't find the footage to restore, or the footage they found was too degraded to restore. I don't know which one it was.
So at least we know that it was there. They just
Yeah.
the MPAA just shit on it and
Yeah.
then ruined it, and now we don't get to see it, which is horrible. All right, so we're down in the mines now. We have 4 people left.
Yep.
They're alive.
Hollis, his girlfriend, Sarah, the girl that our 2 leads are fighting for, and then the goofball guy.
Yes.
Does the goofball guy die? Yes, he does, doesn't he?
Yes.
How does he die?
Let me think. He gets. I think doesn't he just get pickaxed? No, I don't think so. There's something. No, it would have to be more than that. Oh, I can't remember. He does. I know he does.
I don't remember. No, Hollis, the big guy, he gets
I know
face full
Hollis
of
gets it.
nails
Yeah, he
from
gets
a nail gun.
the nail
from
gun.
a nail gun.
Which is brutal because he does it in his lobe first.
Yes, and then he's just struggling.
And he's just struggling walking around. Clearly, he's like brain damaged at that point, trying to get away. And then he just does it again and just keeps doing it to him. Like on his head, like he does it in the front of his head too. Like it was crazy.
Yep.
That was crazy because when he does the first one, the fact that he's still walking around and you can tell he's not right, which kind of leads you to believe like there's brain damage at that point.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's not something you usually see in horror films. I was actually like that would have been to me that's more gruesome than like the dryer or those things because you actually see a type of suffering.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So he goes. So I don't remember how the goofball goes, but he goes.
No, Hollis's girlfriend, she gets a pickaxe in the stomach.
Yes. Which is sad.
Yep. And then Axel, you never see Axel and TJ while like these killings are happening.
Yes.
So the seeds are there that you're thinking maybe one of them is the killer. But then finally they both show up and they're like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And
when they're trying to get out, Axel falls. It's like an underground
it's a well, basically, an underground well.
It's a well. He falls in a well, and I think Sarah says we have to save him, and TJ's like, fuck it, he drowned.
Yeah. Because you see the light on top of the head.
Yeah.
But it's like you see it like.
Yeah, I'm joking. He wasn't cold-hearted like that, but yeah. I bet back of his mind.
He won. You know, well, yeah, he got rid of.
My girl's boyfriend is dead now,
yeah,
so
now I can swoop in and pick up this miner. Interesting part about it. Okay, but to tell people like that doesn't happen on camera.
What?
him falling in the water. You hear
Oh,
it.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. You hear it.
You hear it,
And
then
then
he
you see.
runs to go see what happened. When he gets there, he sees the light sinking in the water.
Right.
Doesn't see the body, just sees the light going down, and it's like, I can't get him. He's already too deep down there. That goes down, I think you said 80 feet.
Yeah.
So he couldn't save him. But you never see him going in. You don't see that. You hear it, but you don't see it.
Yep.
Which is...
So then you get, I think, TJ and Sarah get to the elevator that was sabotaged earlier,
Yeah.
and TJ manages to fix it, but then the miner shows up.
Oh, minor.
And a miner.
The 13-year-old.
Yeah, the 13-year-old. So the miner shows up, they start fighting, and the miner's face mask comes off, and it's fucking Axel.
It's Axel!
Not Axl Rose, but Axel, Sarah's boyfriend.
Sarah's boyfriend.
And I think right there it goes.
Who supposedly
it goes into a
drowned.
Yes. And I think as soon as he rips the mask off, it goes into a flashback.
Yeah.
And you see Axel when he was a little kid witnessing his dad getting murdered by the real Harry Warden 20 years ago because his dad was one of the supervisors that left early he's one of the supervisors that left early and caused those 6 miners to get trapped underground.
Yeah. So basically, the miners were trapped. Harry ate them. They freed him. They did the Valentine's Day thing. He said no. He started killing people. When he killed people, he killed Axel's dad because he was one of the supervisors.
Exactly, yep.
And Axel witnessed the murder from underneath the bed. So I guess in a deranged way, I don't know if he's thinking that because you're bringing the dance back, you're going to bring Harry back.
Either that or disrespecting the fact his dad got murdered
Exactly.
on Valentine's Day.
Or just complete psychosis.
Yeah, I find that reveal reminds me a lot more of Italian horror movies.
Yeah.
Than slasher movies.
Yeah.
Except in Italian horror movies, the reveal at the end would be like even way more convoluted than that.
Yeah.
But it's around like that type of reveal. So after that's revealed, Axel and TJ fight, and
They fought a while.
Yes, they did.
Because they
fight
fought,
a while.
and then they fought when they had the cart. They were trying to get back up, and they were still fighting all the way up.
Like
Like
fucking
on the
Indiana
cart.
Jones and
Exactly.
Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom stole that from this movie.
Oh, exactly. They stole the cart fight. Like that was a huge fight between the two. Usually, like the fight between the two main characters at the end is usually a lot shorter than this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not they live long,
No.
but it's still longer than normal. And it actually was a cool fight. And she kept coming to try to help them. And then eventually what was it? There was an explosion.
There was an explosion, and then finally, now that the murder's been caught in an explosion and isn't a danger anymore, then the cops show up.
Yeah, exactly.
With all the help, and the sheriff goes up to TJ and says, "It's not Harry Warden." And TJ's like, "Yeah, no shit.
It's your son, asshole.
Thanks for the help."
No, that was his dad.
So
right?
then, what?
That was his.
No, TJ, his dad's
the mayor.
was the mayor.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. And so
then
yeah,
they try to save Axel anyways, even though he murdered a shitload of people, and they find his arm
because he's buried in the rubble. His arm is sticking out.
Yeah, and something that's surprising is Sarah still goes to him.
Yeah, because they say, "Oh, look, he's still like." I don't know what they said. I can't remember what they said. Like, "Go to him," type.
Still,
thing. He's still alive, and she's like, "Oh, let me hold your hand."
And she's holding his hand, and all of a sudden it cuts to the other side of the rubble, and you see him sawing off his arm.
I don't understand that.
It's like the guy from 127 Hours.
Yes.
Stole that from this.
Fuck. Everything's stealing from this movie.
So he cuts off his arm and goes off running and warning them that he will be back.
Yes.
And gives one of the greatest maniacal laughs in film history.
Yes. Oh, it's our rogue said, "Take my strong hand."
And I think his last line is he asks Sarah if she'll be his bloody Valentine
while he's running away.
Yeah. And then the credits start, and you're treated to the Ballad of Harry Warden.
Yes. which is a
It's like a folk
folk song
song.
made for the movie
Yeah,
locally, which is interesting. Yeah.
and it tells the legend of Harry Warden.
Yes, the legend. So, yeah, I found the scene weird when he was. I don't know, like when he was sawing off his arm and holding onto her hand. Was it because he wanted to give her one last, like, creep out where she pulled out the arm? Or, like, because he clearly wasn't going to. He clearly wasn't really trying to hold her, pull her in because he's sawing off the arm. Like,
Depending on when I watch a movie, sometimes I think he's trying to like grab her, and other times I'm thinking it's just his nerves are closing his hand while he's
okay, yeah, I
cutting
know.
through his
That's
arm.
possible. That makes sense.
Either or.
Either or. So then the ballad goes, and then it's done. Filmed in Sydney Mines, Nova Scotia.
And it was perfectly set up for a sequel.
Perfectly set up for a sequel as he runs off. But no sequel.
Yep. Nope.
Just the remake, which ushered in 3D.
Just the remake. Which gave us Avatar.
Which gave us Avatar. So this summer I want to go to Sydney Mines. I want to go check this place out. I want to go visit the locations. Are you up for it?
Maybe. We'll see.
We should do it.
It's 5 hours there, 5 hours back in the car with you.
Yeah, sounds like a dream.
We'll see.
Sounds like a lot of stops at Walmart. We could rent like a fucking motel there in the city, and actually go talk to people.
Now you're just trying to get me into a hotel.
One bed. I want a single bed. I want them to lay on me.
So you liked it?
I really liked it. Like, I really, really liked it. Okay, so there's these figures, I'm sure you've seen them. Toonie Terrors. I have some up there.
Toonie Terrors.
They're like Toonie. It's like Friday 13th, like all the horrors.
Oh,
but they look
okay.
like a cartoon. They look like your Scooby Doo.
Oh, okay. We're Canadian, so when you said Toonie, I was thinking like
they're $2 figures.
The two
from NECA.
But Toonie as in cartoons.
Yeah, it's cartoony.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they did the minor one.
No.
Yeah, which is awesome. And now I want to get it after seeing this movie.
I didn't know that.
So I will purchase it and I will show it to you by next week's stream. I will not purchase a computer. I will purchase a Toonie Terror. We'll show it. We'll talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah, My Bloody Valentine is really like a criminally underrated slasher film, or underappreciated.
100%.
I think most people who see it do give it credit, but it's underappreciated because a lot of people have no idea it even exists.
Yeah, it's one of the better 80s slasher movies.
Yeah, big time.
Like it's like high, like it's not better than Friday 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, those are like the kings, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely not underneath. Like it's not third tier. It's second tier for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like high.
But
second tier.
it's often like that. You'll find like little gems in 80s horror because there's so much that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
That a lot of it fell between the cracks.
And I think the nostalgia factor of having something local.
Yeah.
Kind of adds to it too, right? Because then you're like, oh fuck, like I can actually go to this place. Like I don't gotta drive all the way to fucking New York to see this. Like, which is kind of cool. But yeah, all right. So I really enjoyed it. It was very good. I think everybody watching should see this movie, and it's a perfect time of year to see it. Do we know if it's in? Stephen Bud wrote. Speaking of Italian movies, what do you think of Argento movies?
Oh, I love Argento movies.
Any thoughts? Favorite ones? Is he the guy who did Suspiria?
I'm going to cheat.
Who did Suspiria?
And use my phone. Suspiria was
that I liked.
Jesus Christ.
Sucks when it's on the tip of your tongue, huh?
I don't do good under pressure.
Under pressure. Doon 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 doon. Doon 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 doon. Ice pressure.
Yeah, Suspiria with Argento.
That's what I thought. But you could have said no, and then it would have been canon. In fact, check this shit up. Yeah, Stephen Budd says Suspiria's Argento. That's my favorite. It's probably the only
Um,
one I've ever seen, though.
it's it's probably my favorite, but when people ask like what's your favorite, I almost feel like obviously it's that one, but also I would say like come on. I can't think right now.
Okay, well, you
Oh,
think I'm going to read some comments here. Eternal Rogue says he only reads paid comments. I want to join your Discord. I don't have a Discord, okay? I'm not going to have a Discord. Eternal Rogue says Old Man Witters did it. Take my strong
um
hand.
oh, Deep Red. I really like Deep Red.
Deep Red.
Yeah.
Deep Red.
It's you might like it. It's basically like giallo films are basically slashers.
Yeah.
The, the bird with the crystal plumage is good. Inferno is good. I watched Opera for the first time.
Steven says Tenebre was awesome.
Yes, that's awesome. I watched Opera for the first time. I don't know, maybe 5, 6 months ago because I people can be snobs, and a lot of people say, "Oh, Opera's shit compared to like his other movies." But I thought it was pretty good. Like I haven't watched a lot of more modern. Well, it's not that modern. I think it's from '87. But I thought it was pretty fucked
I
up.
consider that the modern era of horror because I never really got past 90. Kind of stuck there. Uh, he says, yes, Deep Red was really good.
But I think like Deep Red would be my favorite. It's hard not to say Suspiria when it comes
I love
to his
Goblin's theme
films.
in Suspiria.
Yeah,
Absolutely love that
but
song. I actually use it in one of. Oh wait, no, I shouldn't say that. I've never used it in one of my videos. They'll take it down. But yes. All right, cool. Any other questions before we move on, people? Because we will be moving on as a special tonight because we love you. It's Love Day. Look at that. I got my little love basket. My little love basket. Love, love, love. There were candies in here at one point, but here's my belly. So we are going to do a review now, a add-on of the new Scream movie, which we saw together this weekend. And usually, when we see movies together, Mr. Dulac and DCompose, we will talk about the movie after the movie, go for a coffee or something to that effect, and discuss the movie. We usually stand at the doorway though and block other people from circulating. Um, but we didn't do that because we said we're going to do it on stream where we don't even know what we thought about it. We don't even know what the other person thought about the movie. So we're going to start that now. So there might be spoilers coming up. We can try to keep the spoilers till a little bit more till the end, I guess, if we can.
yeah, we can.
If we can. But you know what? Just in case you might not want to watch, because I don't
I
know.
can try to keep it spoiler free for a bit.
All right. So let's just start with what you thought about the movie.
So, I really liked it. I thought I was nervous going into it because like they're continuing Scream without Wes Craven.
Yeah.
So right there, it's like, ugh. But at the same time, the two directors, I haven't seen all their movies, but I saw a couple of years ago they came out with Ready or Not with, I think her name is Samara Weaving. I think I talked to you about the movie. She marries into this family, and basically she has to play a demented game of hide and seek. And that's a really good horror movie. So I thought maybe they'll pull it off. For the most part, I really like the movie, except for one. I think everything in the movie that's not perfect is forgivable, except for one big flaw that I find in the movie
Okay.
that I can tell you what it is right
Is
now.
is it a flaw that will spoil it?
Nope, it won't spoil it. It's basically, I feel bad saying this because I guess she's a really good actress in other movies, but I think that who they cast as the lead in the movie, I think she kind of was miscast.
Mm.
Like I don't think she ruins the movie, but I don't see her as like I don't think it's a spoiler telling people going in that the three returning characters play are not the main characters in the movie.
No, well, it's a legacy movie, right? So it should
Yeah.
be the old people passing the torch on to the new.
So that like they don't just play cameos; they play important parts in the movie, but they're not the stars of the movie.
Yeah,
So the lead of the movie, I like her name though. Her name is Samantha Carpenter.
nice. Yeah,
So obviously she's named after John Carpenter. I'm only bringing up my phone because they're all young actors, actresses that I'm not that familiar with, so I don't remember their names. But I don't know what did you think? Like I think she did an okay job, but I don't see her as, the next taking over the franchise from Neve Campbell as the lead actress in the Scream
yeah.
franchise.
So, all right. So, I love the movie.
Oh, you did.
I did. I think it's the best Scream movie since Scream 2.
Holy shit.
It was really good. I'll talk about her too. I felt no sympathy for her at all.
Yeah, like,
There's no
right?
sympathy. There's no sympathy. So if she's going to carry this on in the future, there's got to be something. Because I didn't feel it at all. Like you said, I cared if Neve got killed. I wouldn't give a shit if she got killed, or she did, or she
So
didn't. Like,
we won't go into spoilers about what they do with the character,
yeah,
but they do something with the character that I actually liked. But I think a different actress would have pulled it off better and made you care about the character. Like the girl that plays her little sister, uh, Jen Ortega.
yeah,
Like when they have like emotional scenes together, I found the little sister was just like acting circles around her.
yes, definitely.
Like I thought like, and I had no idea who she was before. I think I've seen her in movies, but never noticed her. I saw a movie with her in the last month called The Fallout, and I was like, holy shit, she is an amazing young actress. And then I didn't realize she was in this until we started watching the movie in the theater. So, oh, we're not going to go into spoilers yet, so I won't say anything. But like during the movie, I almost wish
The lead.
she would have been the lead instead of her big sister.
Yeah,
Although I don't find her big sister ruined the movie, I just thought it would have been better with someone else in the lead.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And maybe she could have done a good job too. I don't know. Maybe that's the way they wanted her to act. Maybe they wanted her to act like not less likable, but just more bland. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
As far as acting goes, I think David Arquette. This is one of the best acting gigs he's ever done.
He's fucking amazing.
Like it's easily the best acting he's done in the Scream franchise by
Yeah.
far because they actually like his not going to go into spoilers, but like his character is actually going through stuff, and like he's like in the first movie he's kind of goofy,
Yes. That's why people liked him.
and
He's
yeah,
Dewey.
but like he's still the same Dewey, but he's aged and he's been through some
He's
shit,
seen shit.
and
Dewey's seen
yeah,
shit.
and you see that, and it was just awesome seeing like Courtney Cox. Like I think I heard you. I think I heard you sitting next to me when she popped up on the screen. You were like, "Yes." And Neve Campbell is just awesome. Like Neve Campbell picking up her cell phone and hearing "Hello, Sydney."
Yes. That was
It's
amazing.
just you just love seeing that on the
Yeah.
screen. Um, I think the rest of the new cast I think I liked. The one I liked most was one of the twins, the one playing Mindy, Jasmine Savoy Brown. She's like the our new horror geek,
Yeah.
and I surprisingly really liked her.
Yeah. She
I
was good.
thought I thought she was one of the better characters in the movie.
Yeah. She was good. All right.
And I think they did a really good job of keeping the Scream formula while updating it. Because another director could have just, we're just going to do a meta slasher.
Yeah.
We're going to have a slasher, he's going to kill people, and some people are going to say, hey, isn't this like Friday the 13th? And that's it. Which they sort of do, but at the same time, they update it they talk about what like the current state of horror
Yeah.
movies, which is really cool.
They basically give you the new rules.
Yes.
For, like, for the
And
horror
I
movie.
remember I didn't like the fact that this movie was just called Scream instead of Scream 5. And because of that character I just named, she actually gives you an explanation. She talks about, what does she call it? Requels?
Yeah, requels, which are
like remakes, but they're
sequels.
sequels.
Reboot sequels.
Yeah. And it actually gives you a reason why, yeah, okay, this movie should be called Scream, I guess.
Yeah. By using the stab reference, which is which is the Scream movie in the Scream universe, which is stab.
Yeah, and that's something that is perfect for this movie, because they can use the movie within a movie to comment on other horror movies.
Yeah, and the comment on other horror movies, and the comment even on the one you're watching.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about stab, you're talking about Scream.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find that neat, and that's the reason why I didn't say it was better. Like I liked it more than I even liked the second one technically.
Mm-hmm.
But I need the second one because I need the idea of stab. Because if I don't have the idea of stab, then this movie doesn't make sense.
Mm.
So I need that in the universe in order for this to make sense. All right, so guys, we're going to get into some spoilers here. So if you're watching, you might want to check the time. It's an hour 26 in. Where we stop.
Jesus Christ.
Really? We're going to be talking about spoilers now. So if you're still there, you might want to disconnect. Come back on, watch this later. Put a like on the way out. If you're still here, you've seen the movie, you still want to listen, stay here, listen. So, all right, let's get to it. So, Dewey being the murderer.
Awesome.
The fuck happened?
Oh,
there?
is that? I wanted to ask you. Now that we've seen the movie, you said you thought of something that they never did, and the first thing I thought of was maybe you think that they would make one of the original survivors the murderer.
Yes, 100%. I thought they were doing.
That's what it was?
Dewey's gonna be the murderer.
Really?
Yeah. I picked Dewey too because I knew he probably would have lost the most.
Yeah.
And this movie proves that he did, which is kind of neat, but not the.
Oh my God, it's so sad in it. So we're in spoilers, so might as well say like Dewey dies in this movie, and you see it coming. But even though you see it coming, it didn't make it any less sad.
Oh, it was.
When you see it coming, it's like, oh shit, he's gonna die here, and the whole time you're like, no, just fucking turn around.
Yeah.
Go back in the elevator.
Because you think when he comes in, and then he says, like when Ghostface is like, you're gonna die. It's like, not today, and he avoids it. Because you think there, okay, maybe there he goes. But no, he doesn't. He's going to leave now. Okay, he's good. He shot him. He's leaving. We're good. We're good now. Now, clearly, when he shot him, he knew he had Kevlar on, like a Kevlar vest, like that, 100%. So when he went to the elevator, and he's like, he turns around and says, no, like, you got to hit him in the head. I'm like, fuck, he's dead.
Yep.
And that scene was just so much emotion. And just the way they pulled it, like when he stabbed and he says, yes, today. It's like, holy fuck. And then puts the second knife.
Dewey was supposed to die in the first movie. Did you know that?
No.
So he was supposed to die. So you see him get stabbed in the back. And I guess at the last minute, when like you see the aftermath at the house, Wes Craven decided at the last minute, let's film a scene of Dewey coming out in a stretcher and then putting in the ambulance, and we'll decide later which ending we'll keep. And he decided at the last minute that no, Dewey's going to survive. Which survives for 5 movies.
Exactly. Yeah. He's the essence of that franchise. Like, we think it's Sidney or Courtney, or it's him. To me, it's him. Like, Like he's
Yeah,
the
it
reason
hurt.
why I kept going to see the movie because it was him.
It hurt, but at the same time, they use his death actually meant something.
Yes.
So not just like the whole they've teased one of those three characters dying for so long now.
Yeah.
It's probably about time. But also his death was the only thing that got Sydney to go back to Woodsboro.
Yeah.
Because when she gets the call and he tells her don't come here, and she's like, well, fuck no, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And then after he gets killed, then she goes. And they explain, and they didn't need that to get Gail there.
No.
All they needed was murders happening.
Exactly. Gail's going to show
She
up.
was going to show up.
But like when she stabs the second knife and she says, "This has been an honor," it's like holy fuck. Like this. First of all, it's like holy shit. Like the shivers, and then the whole holy fuck. This person is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like they're seeing it like they're writing a movie. Like they're writing Stab.
Exactly.
Like they're like
And
acting
it was surprising. It was surprising at the beginning, the cold opening, where you think you're seeing someone getting murdered, and she survives.
Yeah.
It's the first time it's happened in a Scream movie.
Yes, that's true.
And of course, there was a reason for that as well. It was just to get her sister back.
Yeah, everything was to suck in more people.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Fuck. Yeah, when they bring him out on a stretcher, and Courtney is arriving, and sees the stretcher, and then knows that he's dead. Like her reaction. Yeah. And one thing about Courtney I'm going to say about in this movie, and I don't like to say this because as I've grown older, I try to not mock people. Well, less anyways, but it was hard to read an expression on her face due to the
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, anyways. I was like, really? Do you have to? Like, did you have to do that much? Anyways, but yeah. Her filler made her face look like you couldn't really move it. Therefore, it kind of took away from the expression she would have had over Dewey's death. She still did a good job. She still teared up and all that, which is cool, but yeah.
So, what did you think of the main character, Sam Carpenter? So we're in spoilers. We end up finding out in the movie. Well, first, actually, we see see she has hallucinations, and we see her hallucinations before we get an explanation as to why she's seeing that. Yes. She keeps seeing and talking to Billy Loomis, yes, the original killer in the first movie, and then later on we find out that she's the daughter of Billy Loomis. What did you think of that?
I didn't think it was necessary.
No.
It's okay, but it's not necessary because that's not the reason why she went back. She went back because her sister was attacked.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, we're in spoilers. So at the end of the movie, she kills. Yeah, I'm all over the place. I'll talk about that later. Never mind. So yeah. So did you like the new characters?
Yeah, for the most part. Like I said, the lead wasn't great. The other ones were okay. I mean, because most of them are gone, so I mean, the ones that are going to stay.
Yeah, some of them are gone pretty fast. Yeah. Like, so the twins, there's twins. They're a brother and sister. Yeah. The brother has a girlfriend, and I think you maybe see her in three scenes, maybe 4.
Which makes her suspicious.
Yeah, which makes one of my favorite scenes in the movie where we learn early on in the movie. So the brother, he's like a jock character, and he's made it known that him and his girlfriend have not slept together yet, and he fucking wants to.
Yeah.
And then later on in the movie, after all these murders have happened, they're at a party, and his girlfriend wants it, and she says, "Let's go upstairs and we'll have sex." And the boyfriend says, no. And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, we should stay down here where everyone else is." Yeah. And she's like, no, what do you mean? And he admits, finally, he says, I'm almost 100% sure you're not the murderer.
Just in case.
But just in case. I
He's fucking
love that
smart.
scene.
You
Yeah,
don't see that level of
that
smartness
was
usually in a slasher movie.
hilarious.
Usually they're like, okay. And they go up there and
Yeah,
get
and
killed.
he's a jock too. He's not supposed to be smart,
Yeah.
but I guess he was.
Yeah, he was smart. Yeah. Yeah, I liked his character. Too bad he got killed, though.
Yeah, and they had a character named Wes,
Yeah.
and that was a fun gag when so they did like the reverse of what you would expect in a shower scene from a slasher movie,
Yeah.
because it's the guy in the shower soaping up for an extremely long time, and then the gag just goes on forever where like he opens a door and you expect the killer's going to be behind the door after he closes it and he doesn't. And I don't know about you, towards the end I didn't want him to die,
No. I wanted
but
him
I
to find
admit,
his mom.
yeah, his mom gets killed before.
Yes.
I don't know if I didn't want him to die though, just because his name was Wes.
Yeah. I think.
But then I didn't realize they set up like the perfect tribute to Wes because of that character dying. Towards the end of the movie, they're having the kids are all having a party, and at the party you see it says for Wes,
Yeah.
or something like
And they
that.
say that at the end, too, in the credits.
Yeah,
For Wes.
I might have teared up there. I'm not sure.
Aw.
Aw,
But yeah, like when when the mom's coming home to try to
yeah,
save him, like full tilt, and then runs up on a fucking he just pops out and just fucking stabs her, man. Just
yeah.
feels just like holy
And
shit.
it's a mom. She's a sheriff. She's a sheriff now.
Yeah. See, I don't
She
remember
was
her
in,
in the other movies, but
oh,
I haven't seen them in a long time.
she was only Scream 4.
Okay, that would explain it.
She was a deputy that kept flirting with Dewey,
Okay.
and so obviously Gail hated her face.
Mm.
She kept making lemon squares for Dewey.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I didn't remember that. I don't remember anything past Scream 3.
Scream! I really like Scream 4. If you watch it now, you realize how ahead of its time is. There's a character in Scream 4 that's live streaming his entire day. No one was live streaming their entire day
Now look at us.
when fucking Scream 4 came out.
Now they're doing it.
So they end up in the same house from the first movie.
Which I didn't even notice until it was brought up.
I didn't notice either.
Yeah. Then they show like all the different like scene, like the different like angles of the house inside and all that, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. So I like the end. I like fucking Sydney shows up. Like, she's not fucking around. She shows up. She has guns in the trunk of her car. And when she goes into the house, she warns people, like, you come out right now. And what she does is she shoots a bullet through every door she goes to open, she shoots a bullet through
Yeah.
it first.
Yeah. Which when I was watching, I was like, it's good, but in another way, you're wasting bullets.
Yeah.
'Cause you can only hold so many. But yeah, I like when Dewey calls you have a gun. I'm Sidney fucking Prescott. Of course I have a gun.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And like you said, when he calls her, he says, hello, Sydney. That was like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's the nostalgia. It's like it was the same thing when I watched Ghostbusters. Like when I saw Egon, like it just gives you the feels. It's the same thing. You see these like the legacy characters, and they do a good, like you said, the new girl there. She does a good job at explaining like what is a requel. Like, what does it mean?
Yes,
You got to have the legacy
and
characters. You got to have.
And she goes into how it's a balancing act, not to piss off the fans. And I think she does mention Star Wars, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think. And then they use the example of I think they say it's Stab 8.
Yeah.
And they show scenes from Stab 8, and they mention it has nothing to do with the previous Stab movies. And you see scenes where Ghostface, his face is now like all metal.
Yes.
And he has like no sleeves and a blowtorch.
Yeah. It's cool. It mocks itself, but it does that in order to explain what type of new Scream, like the new rules, I guess, of what you're watching.
And that kind of it transitions to when you find out what the motives of the murderers are.
Yeah.
They're basically like you find that a lot in horror, and actually you find that in Star Wars too. The fans that they act like like gatekeepers.
It's religion.
Yeah. They're like gatekeepers, like they're, oh, well, you're not a real fan
Yeah.
unless you only like these movies and you have to hate these movies and blah blah blah. And I think that was pretty good. I think Ghostbusters 2016 tried to do something like that, but the way they did it, it just came off like they were shitting on the fans.
Yeah. Which is never good.
This one came off, they just came off good. And talking about the murders, I think like the guy that was playing the boyfriend that ended up being the murderer, he was okay.
Yeah.
But the girl that was his partner in the murder, she was fucking fantastic.
I loved her.
Especially after you
Loved
find
her.
out
Oh yeah, when you find out she's a murderer, holy fuck,
Holy
she's crazy.
shit.
Oh yeah, I loved her. I didn't like her before in the movie at all. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah,
this
she
is-
was always a
She's just a
bitch.
prude, just a bitch, just like, you know.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because the two, like, she is kind of in the circle of one sister, like they're living
Yeah.
together and shit. Because her phone was the phone that wasn't even cloned all along.
Yeah, it was just her
It was
phone.
just her phone.
Back.
And then you at the other side of the spectrum, you have the older sister, and then with that guy. So, then you find out like they know each other, like they met up, and like it's just weird.
Yeah. And they were acting smart. They didn't like each other.
Yeah. Which is good.
He was acting like he had never watched a stab movie.
Yeah. Like he's watching them again, and when in reality,
Yeah.
he was just getting his fix.
Yeah.
I've never
And
done
they
coke
kept-
before. Let me try this line.
And they kept blaming each other. Well, maybe you're the murderer.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you are the murderer.
Like when they like that scene when they go downstairs to get the booze
Yeah.
the first time, and it's the two girls. And then like when they go back and forth, like, you know, like for the murder, you should come down here alone, blah blah blah, back and forth, and I was like, and then when they both get kind of serious, I'm kind of like, okay, any of these two could be the one. Like,
Yeah.
like they're both. It would have been way too obvious if it would have been the one that was trying to explain what a requel was, but at the same time, it made it a little more. I don't know. It kind of made it a lot obvious in the sense that it wouldn't be her and it would be the other one. Although, I thought still it was like legacy character.
Fucking Ed. Towards the end of the movie, they had me wondering if the fucking little sister wasn't part of it.
Yes, exactly.
I fucking doubted myself for a minute there.
Yeah, when they got up to her and like she didn't want to untie her, but she ended up doing. She
Yeah.
ended up doing it though, but you don't know that.
Right.
So you're like, maybe she's part of it too. Like,
Oh, so what I was thinking now that we're talking about towards the end, so at the end, our main girl there, Sam Carpenter, she kind of flips the fuck out when she kills her boyfriend and stabs him about 50 times and then shoots him. I think she shoots him in the face before he even has a chance to get up. And right there I was thinking, oh, it could be interesting if they made her the murderer in the next movie.
yeah,
And then we wouldn't have to see her as the lead anymore.
you'd still have to see her as the lead in the next movie.
And what I was thinking, though, this is the perfect franchise to actually pull the trigger on doing that, because we both have watched other franchises where they teased it and then they chickened out when they made the sequel. Like Friday the 13th, they teased it with
They teased it with Tommy. They teased it.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Halloween, they teased it with Daniel Harris. And then when the sequel comes, they just chickened out, because the thing that's different about those franchises is if people watch a Halloween movie, they want to see Michael Myers.
Yeah.
If people watch a Friday the 13th movie, they want to see Jason.
Although Jason still did pull the trigger and get a new killer.
Yeah.
It just wasn't
well,
anybody that we knew.
They soon found out how fans felt about that.
Exactly. Well, you shouldn't. First of all, you shouldn't fuck around with people that are chopping wood and offering them chocolate.
Yeah. But when it comes to Scream, though, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, because fans wouldn't really.
Yeah,
care.
so they could actually pull it off.
It'd be cool. But although now would it be expected?
Maybe.
Like the way.
Maybe they'll just play it.
Because the whole goal of a
That you
Scream.
suspect her
the complete.
you'll suspect her the whole the whole movie, and at the
And
end
they
it won't be
swerve
her.
because the whole goal of
Yeah.
a Scream movie is who done it.
So they've already greenlit the next Scream movie. Same director.
Which is good. I liked it. I really enjoy. I
Yeah, I did.
I don't know how
It,
I'll care about it without the legacy characters though. It'll
yeah,
make a difference because Dewey really had a strong performance. I like David Arquette. I like David Arquette in wrestling. I liked his documentary he did about his wrestling journey. Like
yeah, that's a really good movie.
I watched that like 5 times. Like
I
I actually like David Arquette.
I like the scene where he's in the living room with all the kids, and they're talking about who could be the killer, and right in front of him, he's like, "Your boyfriend could be the
Yeah,
killer."
but he was
And
right.
I think it's a West character. He's like, "Maybe you could be the killer."
Yeah,
And then I think Dewey says, "Well, how do you feel if I accuse you of being the killer? Because accusing me, that cut deep," or something like
yeah.
that.
It's funny, when he first met her, he's like, "Who's he? Your boyfriend?" He's statistically the killer, and he's right.
Yeah,
Call it right away.
he starts asking questions. How long have you known him?
Yeah, half right anyway. So now in a Scream movie, is it always going to have to be two people?
Um,
Because the problem is, when it's not two, is that you're gonna notice who's missing.
yeah.
Although Clue did it, so it's not
I think
impossible.
I think Scream 3 is the only one, and I might be remembering Scream 3 wrong. I think Scream 3 is the only one where the killer was only one person.
I don't remember.
So in Scream 1, it's
It's Billy
Billy
Loomis
and
and the other
Stu.
guy.
In Scream 2, it's Billy's mom,
Yeah.
and I forget his name. He's played by Timothy Oliphant. The guy, the marshal in the Book of Boba Fett.
I only watched the first episode of Boba Fett.
Oh, in the Mandalorian. Remember when the Mandalorian finds the guy that's using Boba Fett's armor?
Yeah, yeah.
It's him.
Oh,
He's
him.
in Scream.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in Scream 2. He's one of the students. So it was him and Billy's mom, and then I think in Scream 3 was just the director, I think. And then in Scream 4, it's
It's never Cotton Weary.
nope.
Never Cotton.
Then in Scream 4, it's Sydney's niece and one of the school kids. It's one of the horror geeks, actually.
Mm.
The first movie where one of the horror geeks is actually, but in Scream 4 there was like 3 horror geeks. So
Yeah, they had a pool.
yeah. So one thing, these movies, they might still pull off a theme. I don't think the original trilogy was planning a theme, but now in retrospect, if you watch the movies, like you always see that in movies where the son pays for his father's sins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the Scream movies, Sydney is basically paying for her mother's sins.
Yes.
Like Billy Loomis, Billy's mom, then the killer in Scream 3 is like her half brother. And what's interesting is so her mom's sins is just that she was promiscuous.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is these movies are from like the mid 90s, and they're still pretty progressive because so she's promiscuous, but the only people that call her like a slut or anything derogatory are like bad people.
Cotton Weary.
Like even in the first movie, like when they find like when Sydney's friend played by Rose McGowan finds out her mom's was sleeping around, she's like right serious, and she's like, it sounds like your mom was like really unhappy, like something was wrong with her. And this is a character that died like a year before the first movie, and is like her presence is there throughout the trilogy, and then by the third movie you find out what happened to her when she was young, and she's really played like a victim.
Yeah.
And you have all these people pissed off at her and taking out on Sydney. In this one, they could you could have the main character paying for like the sins of Billy Loomis,
Mm.
or you could just kill off the character next movie and get a new lead.
Yeah.
I feel bad saying that. She wasn't that bad. It's just I think she was like miscast, I think.
Maybe, or maybe it's because she just the act, not the acting, but the I can explain it. Maybe if she's an actor, she should be able to change what she's portraying. That's what actors
Yeah,
do.
but sometimes you just don't have. Sometimes some actors are just not right for the role. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be different in the sequel. Who knows? But this movie proves like you can still do old school slasher movies
Yes. But in order to,
and make it good.
but it's a franchise, right? It has that behind
Yeah,
it, and it has legacy characters, which is
yeah. But like if you take like just scenes where like the killer is stalking someone in a house, if you have a good director, it can be fun
yeah,
watching and just not just fucking jump scares every 5 minutes.
yeah, yeah. I like the
I think
fact.
it's fun.
I like we didn't really see many jump scares. We just saw teases of them, but they weren't happening,
Yeah,
which I enjoyed because I don't jump scares are like I'm not a huge
it
fan of them.
treated it knew its audience knows horror movies.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Like the younger sister when she's asked what her favorite horror movies are, and she starts going on about how she likes elevated horror movies,
Yes. Yeah.
and the killer is like, "What do you mean elevated horror movies? Jesus Christ!"
And she goes through all this list,
Yeah,
which is clearly not what he would like. A stab is the way. Stab. So, all right. So, what did you think of Courtney Cox's performance?
I thought it was okay.
Neve Campbell's?
Even if you think her facial expressions were,
I don't like to say that because I feel bad. Because I know that, she clearly wants to look young, and I totally get why you do it. It just to me, I guess I haven't really seen her. I I
yeah.
saw her in David Arquette's documentary, I guess, but I don't remember her looking quite like that.
Hey, at least she didn't have the bangs from Scream 3.
No bangs.
Yeah. Nev's performance was okay. I mean, we're in spoilers. You hardly see her in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You see her when Stewie calls her, and then you don't see her again until she shows up after Dewey's dead. I think I said Stewie. I meant Dewey. Stewie.
What the deuce?
But like they made it clear like these movies aren't really about her anymore. I think they're trying to
Pass
pass
the
the
torch.
torch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the torch bearer now is really good, but
Yeah. I think that'll be the real test will be the next movie, I think.
yeah. And no
But I
Dewey.
mean, at the same time, like we're in the mentality where we're thinking, okay, the final girl from this movie is going to be the lead in no matter how many Scream movies they make. But really, that's not a slasher mentality. How many other slasher franchises have had a final girl act in more than 2 or 3 movies?
And also, to be fair, there's two final girls.
Yeah, exactly.
The other one
So
too.
one of them.
So
So chances, so she could die in the next movie. They
exactly.
could pull anything
And the
off,
other girl
really.
could be the new Neve Campbell.
Like all the final girls we think of, like the classic final girls, most of them were only in 1 or 2 movies from the franchise.
Yeah.
Like Nancy Johnson is only in 3 movies, counting New Nightmare. Fucking Alice that comes after, she's not even played by the same actress for 2 movies in a row.
Yes, she is.
No, Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette is before that. She's not Alice. She's
Oh, I said Alice. Yeah,
yeah.
Alice comes after.
Patricia Arquette is what's her name? Ugh, I can't remember now. But no, she's not played by the same because in Nightmare 3 she's not Patricia Arquette. She's Patricia Arquette. Nightmare 4 she's not.
Then you have Friday the 13th with the longest running, like they don't have reoccurring final
No.
girls. They have a recurring final boy, and he's always played by someone different.
Well, technically, the final girl in Friday 13 Part 1 isn't Friday 13 Part 2, but she dies in the
Yeah.
first scene. But yes, there are really no final girls. I guess that continue on. Speaking of final girls, I saw a movie called Final Girls. You told me about this.
Oh,
I
yes.
saw. I
Did
was
you
gonna
like
watch it last night. I saw it on streaming.
Oh, you didn't watch
I
it
didn't
yet?
watch it yet. Is it good?
Yes, it's awesome.
It said it was
It's like,
comedy, something about this girl that her mom's in a horror movie in the past, and then she's in the past watching her mom in a horror movie or something. I don't know.
so like this girl's mom was in a horror movie, and the horror movie is an obvious spoof of Friday the 13th. But her mom died when she was young. So now, like a horror geek's bugging her, like, we're playing the movie your mom's in. You need to come, blah blah blah. And then she comes, and shit happens.
Okay. And she ends up in
The only thing that I think the movie's like PG-13. I think the only thing that would have made it like better if they would have went for the R rating.
like all gore.
That and if they would have had like the actual Friday the 13th licensing, and it would have been actually Jason in the movie. I think the character's name is Tommy instead,
Okay.
and he wears like a different mask, but it's basically Friday the
Yeah,
13th. Yeah.
It looked neat. I'll have to check it out.
It is. I'm sure you'll like it.
I'll have to.
And it's PG-13, so it won't scare you too much.
It won't make me lose any sleep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So any final thoughts on Scream before we wrap it up?
No, it was really good, and like you said, I think it was one of the best sequels of the franchise. It was a nice little tribute to Wes Craven too.
Yeah, I agree.
It really kept the spirit. Like a lot of other horror franchises, they try to reinvent themselves, and I think this one they did a great job of. It's basically the same. It's exactly the same feeling as the other movies, but they just updated what it's commenting on.
Yeah, exactly. And they made it work in the now world with cell phones.
Yeah. And they really
that
pulled it
stuff.
off.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Looking forward to more sequels, because that's all we want as horror fans, is sequels of the same fucking movie over and over again.
True. I want to see a new Friday 13th.
Maybe someday. I don't. I think they're. I think.
Because the lawsuit's done, and the appeal's done.
I think the lawsuit's done,
The
right?
appeal's done, too.
But who owns what?
It's Victor 1, I think. Both
Victor,
times.
does he
Victor
own
Miller.
everything?
He owns the Jason character for sure.
Like Jason, hockey mask
Yeah,
wearing Jason?
I think he owns the whole
Because
thing.
that's it's weird, right?
It is weird, but he created the character. Now, whether you gave the character a pair of shoes or not later on, it's still the character. But I totally understand why people would think that it's different, and there might be an
Yeah,
argument
because
there.
he created a character like a little boy that died and his mom went on a killing spree, but then someone else came over and said, "Okay, well, he didn't die."
Yeah, but they use the lure
now wears
though
a
of the
hockey
mother
mask.
too in order to say
Yeah,
she
I know.
talks to him, and you know what I mean. Like,
Hopefully, him and Cunningham can just get along and make a movie.
well, you would think they would. It's in their best interest for both of them
Yeah,
to make money.
because I really like the idea of like the new Friday the 13th movie we're supposed to get was supposed to be set in the 80s.
Yes, I want to see that.
And right there, that clicks something in my head. Like that basically solves any problem that I would foresee in a Friday the 13th remake
Yeah,
in the present.
technology
Make
is
it
gone.
in the fucking
It's
80s.
literally in the 80s, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
And it's exactly I love the era naturally. Well, I have like
yeah.
can't
We're old fucks. We just want stuff that plays to our nostalgia.
exactly. That's all we want.
Don't give us anything fucking new like
Give
the
me-
Babadook.
Don't give me new shit. Don't give me Greedo shooting second, first.
All right.
Cool.
There's no fucking way anyone's still watching this, so we should probably just go.
Yeah, nobody's watching this. To those who are watching, thanks for watching. To those that are not watching, thanks for watching. All right, so we're going to sign off. So hope you guys enjoyed. So take care and have a good night. Later.